So we're looking at this 22,000 mile 1994 Nissan 300ZX, also known as a Z32 twin turbo 5-speed. And look at this, guys. I guess the time for the Z32 has come. $61,000, 1 minute left, 72 comments, and I'm pretty sure that those comments are about how the Z32's time has come. And what I mean by that is that if you think about the Supra, the Skyline, the Mazda RX-7 here recently, the S2000, all the 90s Japanese cars have been shooting up in value, and the Z32 has been being left behind. So finally, it's getting its time in the shine light. So how do I feel about it? Well, we'll let you know here in a bit. But let's go ahead and stick to our tradition of the BAT essentials. The car is located in California. Chassis number, let's see if we have an Easter egg like we always do. So this is Z32. Let's see if we have anything like that. And we have a Z24. I don't think we have any ones in here as far as something that resembles the car that we know. We have 22,000 miles shown. That is very, very low miles. Let's go ahead and do the math on that mileage real quick. All right, so I'm getting my calculator real quick. This is a 1994, so 2022 minus 1994 equals 28 years divided by, let's see, let's do 22,000. All right, so we're gonna do 22,000 divided by 20. So about 700 miles. If that was the case, then you know, it was driven pretty well. Let's go ahead and just jump down real. Let's see why this car commanded $60,000. Woo! Well, first off, that's a nice paint. I wonder if they paint corrected or if it's the original one. But this is a nice example, so I could see why this one is fetching a lot of money. I'm flying through this real quickly because we have a lot to talk about as far as this car here. All right, let's see this interior because that's the most important thing, in my opinion, to see the interior, the engine bay, and the interior itself. All right, leather looks good. Really look good. And let's see, man, they provided a lot of photos. And let's see. Okay, let's just jump out here. Scroll down real quick and look at this engine. I want to see this engine bay. All right. And that's where I'm going to start my mini rant. All right, this is why I've had Supras, I've had Skylines, right-hand drive Skylines, S2000s, you name it. I've had it. And why have I never picked up a Z32? Let me tell you why. This engine is crammed inside there. No thank you. The owners I've talked to have had to work on him, just nightmare. I mean, this is one of the earlier like engine out talks that people would talk about as far as getting anything done. The two turbos that are on the side, they're just slammed against the firewall on the left and the right. It's not like you're gonna like a 2JZ or an RB where you could just swap them out, go have dinner and you're done. These require intake removals, all kinds of stuff removed. This is no fun. Now, one of the most famous companies is Z32 Motorsports or something like that, or Z Motorsports or whatever. They offer a lot of parts for these. Now, I have to be honest, I'm not a full Z32 hater because these cars are incredibly fast. As a matter of fact, even with the BPU Skyline, this thing of the same era, 1994, this thing would wax the floor with it. These cars are really fast. But again, they're fast for what they are at the time and for what they are OEM. But when you start modifying them, one of the weak points I hear is the turbos, and getting to those is going to be a pain in the butt. Great transmission from what I hear. Interior, in my opinion, has always been a little bit janky. I know that's not my word. That's Obsessed Garage's word. But I'm going to be honest with you. This leather looks great because typically it comes with like a carpeted interior for the seats, carpeted interior for the dash. It just looks 90. I think the leather seats look great. I think in general this is a great car if you're trying to collect all the 90s cars. It comes with all its information. Looks like owner's manual, service manual. I mean, everything you need. And I think this is one of those cars that if you were collecting a Z32, this is the one you'd want. Now, as a master tech, if I was looking at this car, 20,000 miles, really a lot of service isn't coming up for it. But one thing you should be considering is how it was driven, how long has it been driven, and anything that could possibly have been sitting as far as a seal. Now, seals are not supposed to be dry. So what happens if a car sits for a year, that whole seal in itself, maybe part of it in the bottom is being lubricated or depending on where it's located, just partially the seals being lubricated. But most of the time, seals, they dry rot, or they just get worn down with age, even just with oxidation. Rubber oxidation usually referred to metals, but rubber and oxygen in time really deteriorates them. So that's what I would be looking at. Looks like this person did something, which is good. So they provide you with information, brake fluid, which is good. So any fluids should not be from the 90s. All of them should be current. And that's pretty much about it, guys. If you're interested in this car, this is probably one of those that's going to go for a high value for collector cars. But in my opinion, I'm sorry, the Z32 just doesn't do it for me.